What is good, Tesla family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And this one, I'm going to break down something very important about Tesla's deliveries. I have an estimate of how many deliveries Tesla may give us during the next deliveries report. I'm going to break down why it's looking very, very good for now, based off what I'm seeing from these different articles and based off a lot of data that just came out. Before I break anything down about all this information, let me just mention a couple of things real quick. Firstly, I am not a financial planner, so take none of this as financial advice. And don't forget about the Moomoo link. The offer ends very soon. Deposit $100 in your guaranteed 5 free stocks with a $100 cash reward. The offer ends in 6 days. Check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. All right, so when it comes to Tesla, guys, okay, and let me first mention that we're getting lots of good articles coming out about Tesla's sales in China, Tesla's sales in Europe, and also other parts of the world. But if you look at Tesla from a technical standpoint, as I mentioned earlier, with Jerome Powell speaking next week on Wednesday and all these other things going on, this could lead to more downside for Tesla moving forward. If you look at the markets, and yes, there is a possibility that Tesla could slow down. Right, looking at the head and shoulders formation and Tesla getting stopped out at this like 265 resistance, it hasn't been able to break that just yet. However, despite this, despite the fact that Tesla could possibly start to break down, if it breaks below like 247 to 250 as that support zone, we could start to see this thing continue to break down and get closer to that gap fill at that 235 level. It's a possibility, right? But despite all of this, these possibilities, Tesla could still make a very big move to the upside after deliveries come out next week. They're going to come out during the first Sunday, most likely, of July. So please be ready for that during the very beginning of July. And we're going to find out how Tesla did for Q2. Now, looking at the data and looking at what I'm seeing so far, things are looking very optimistic, but I need to note that I am not necessarily an expert on this. And I don't have enough data for me to be 100% confident about how it's going to go, but I have enough data to at least tell you that things are looking decent as of right now based off that data alone. So what I did is I looked at the different months of the year and I looked at what the data and registrations are telling us about China, Europe, and the USA. Now, I can't promise anything, but so far things are looking very good based off what I'm seeing. And we can see right here, if you look at like the USA, we're continuing to see some decent growth. In China especially, however, there's a lot of growth coming. Look, if you look at like Q1, for example, a lot of deliveries came from Shanghai. Shanghai plays a very, very big role in Tesla's deliveries, and we're continuing to see lots and lots of growth. If you look at Europe, for instance, we saw an 18% jump in May. And once again, all these numbers will add up at the very end once I show you everything. An 18% jump in May, and we saw a total of over, I think it says it near the very bottom somewhere, Tesla registrations for the month in Europe were 29,000. So a big increase in Europe for the month of May. The European car sales, looking at like the month of April, we saw another increase going forward. Tesla made up a big part of that. Looking at what's going on in China, lots and lots of increases once you break down all these specific details and all the numbers. China is doing quite well for Tesla. We're continuing to see a lot of growth, over 75,000 deliveries in just April of 2023. If you look at everything overall, we had about 422,000 deliveries for Tesla just for Q1 of this year, and that was looking very promising for the company moving forward. Now, I believe there's a high probability Tesla could break this, but it's going to depend a lot on the USA. But like I said before, I think Tesla could break this record and give us another all-time high in quarterly deliveries for this quarter. Now, another reason why I'm saying that is if you look at China right now, as of between June 1st and the 18th, we got over 40,000 deliveries. Once again, I will add up all these numbers at the very end. And then if you look at what happened in China for both April and May, they did over 75,000 deliveries. Europe was killing it as well, but there's not enough data coming out for the USA to be as confident, but I do have some data from April. We're going to be re-watching like this for like May and June going forward. But anyways, now let's add up all the numbers from all these different websites, all these different databases. Once again, I want to tell you guys, I'm not going to guarantee these are perfect, but there's a high probability that there's going to be truth behind this. So in April, the month of April 2023, in China, we saw over 75,842 registrations for Tesla. Okay. In the USA, we got over 56,000 just based off the reports. In Europe as a whole, it was estimated to be over 14,000 plus registrations for just April of 2023. Adding the numbers together, you're going to get over 145,000 deliveries just from April. That's a very, very high number. That's very good for Tesla. And one of the highest months we've ever seen for the company as a whole. Now, for the month of May, excuse me, sorry guys. Anyways, for May, all right, in China, we got about 77,695 new registrations. The USA, we don't have enough data for me to be very conclusive about this. So I'm still going to be looking at that. I've been looking like crazy. I just can't find it for the USA to be, and I'm not really finding it from a very credible source as well, just to be like more certain. I don't want to like throw in any BS numbers. And in Europe, we had over 29,000. That's pretty insane. 29,000 for Europe, a big increase compared to before. So that's once again very, very good news for Tesla. Now in Europe right now, I'm not getting enough data on the registrations to give us any like enough conclusive evidence. For the USA, we're still waiting for that as well. And they are changing the way that they're going to be calculating this on the website. So I'm still waiting for that to update, hopefully in the next couple of days. But for China, for June, as of between June 1st and June 18th, we have over 40,600 deliveries in total, or new registrations in total, for just June of 2023. And if you think about it, that's almost like the halfway point. So like it was almost between June 1st and June 15th. And we could estimate it's going to be very close overall for June to these numbers right here. So China's looking very consistent, right? Europe is looking either the same, if not higher. But the question is, how about the USA? Can the USA give us about 50,000 deliveries per month on average, or something around there? If they can, what we could do is assume that the April statistics are going to be very similar to those of May and June. And if they do give us around this many deliveries just from these three areas in total, we're going to get over 437,000 deliveries in total just from these three. You also have to account for other parts of the world like Canada. But at the bare minimum, we could see Tesla give us over 437,000. Now, you also need to note that China's numbers are going up, so are Europe's. And for June, I think China's numbers could go up, so should Europe's. But I'm just not as sure about the USA given all the news that was coming out about, Tesla cutting prices in the US and this and that. I'm not too sure about the USA there, but I am optimistic. So there's a high probability Tesla, at the very least, will be able to break this record. I think I have it, right here. The 422,000 deliveries. I think Tesla could break this record and give us something over around 437,000 plus. My only issue with making that calculation would be figuring out what's going on in the USA. I don't know how the USA is looking for now. Looking at the inventory levels, we're just waiting for that data to update. But until then, there's a high probability Tesla is going to come very close to this, if not breaking this record. And it could be even closer to like 450 plus thousand, because these numbers are constantly increasing, right? Europe is increasing. Europe may have increased again for June. We just don't have enough data yet. We're still in June. And for the USA, we could see another increase, if not very similar numbers. It's still very, very possible. So it looks very good for Tesla. And like I was telling you guys before, we have this head and shoulders pattern. Sure. Could Tesla sell off? Sure. It could happen. I'm okay with that. There's nothing wrong with a small retracement when you consider the fact that the stock is up over $100 from the past month and a half. It's still up like crazy. So it's okay to see this thing retrace a bit. I'm fine with that. But even if that happens, do not count Tesla out. There's no guarantee it's just going to continue to crash after, like, if it does come down to 435, there's no guarantee it's going back to the 100s, no matter what the media tries to say, because Tesla could always make an attempt to rebound and start pushing to the upside and break this high again. If it gives us a very, very strong deliveries report, it still is very possible. And in my opinion, looking at these numbers, I know they're not the most credible numbers or the most perfect ones, but there's a good chance Tesla's going to meet the same record it made from before, if not break it, and get something closer to like 437 plus thousand, if not over 450,000. So it's looking very good. China is looking very strong for Tesla this time around. China's looking strong. Europe is looking stronger too. USA, I'm not as sure about. The first month of May was looking pretty good. I'm not too sure about May and June for the time being, but as long as the numbers are decent around the 50K mark or even a little bit lower, it's going to be fine. I still think Tesla has a lot of potential, and I'm very, very confident in this company moving forward. And this next deliveries report that's coming out within a week from now, or within a week and a half from now, within that time span, we're going to see a very, very big move, and this could turn into a very bullish catalyst. All right, so I want to be blunt and end the video kind of short from here. Please, please, please be ready for lots of volatility for Tesla, and this could be huge for the share price moving forward. Thank you all so much for listening. Have an absolutely spectacular rest of the day. I'll most definitely see you guys in the next one. Tesla to the moon, because the long term is still incredibly bright, and peace out.